Hey everybody, this is Alex Ipton here at New Dawn. Welcome to today's broadcast. Today's presentation is Courts Looking to the Clouds. I'm thrilled to be here today to talk to you about the exciting topic of cloud computing. In today's economical climate, many states face resource cuts. With cuts both in monetary and personnel resources, courts have been forced to do more with less. As a remedy, information technology helps courts accomplish more with less by increasing the efficiency of not only computing, but the justice process itself. But despite all its benefits, courts face many obstacles in obtaining new technology, all stemming back to resource cuts, expensive upfront investment in hardware and software, and limited IT personnel make obtaining new technologies a major barrier. These barriers have left many courts stuck using old, inefficient technology systems. Let's begin with a story. Meet Phil. Phil is a court administrator. He desperately needs a new case management system. His court has been using the same system since, well, who really knows? Change is needed to increase the efficiency of the flow of justice through the court. The court is facing increased caseloads and an all-time low budget. Phil does not know what to do. He knows that technology would help his court better serve the public, but the budget is just not there. How can he justify an investment in technology when he can barely keep his personnel on payroll? I'm going to pause the story here. What can Phil do? What are his options? While it may seem impossible to budget for a major IT investment, it doesn't have to be. During this webinar, we will discuss how cloud computing and pricing models can help your court break through restrictive barriers to move your technology projects forward. You may be asking, so what is cloud computing? This is a great question. Unfortunately, there is no easy answer. Cloud computing has many definitions, making it difficult to understand. In its most basic sense, cloud computing describes computer services, such as servers, software, storage, delivered over the internet, on demand, from an off-premise location. This means that rather than your court investing in servers, you have your computing services hosted on external servers in a service provider's data center. The cloud refers to the computer resources and services accessed through the internet. Through the cloud, your court can access computing services anywhere, at any time, from any device. Cloud computing provides considerable benefits. First, cost savings. Cloud computing eliminates server acquisition and maintenance costs, technical support resources, and even third-party software costs. Fast implementations. Because you don't need to acquire software and other infrastructure, cloud computing allows courts to go live with new technologies faster. More mobility. Court users can access computing resources wherever they are, rather than having to remain at their desks or in the courtroom. Shift focus. Because the service provider handles all server updates and maintenance, your court can focus on their core mission to better serve the public. Before entering a cloud environment, you need to select the proper cloud computing service model. The different service models vary based on how much service the cloud provides. The three common cloud computing service models include infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Infrastructure as a service is the most basic cloud computing service model. Infrastructure as a service provides computer hardware, such as virtualized servers, networks, and storage, to support or replace the functions of an entire on-premise data center. For example, infrastructure as a service would be a good option for a court that owns case management software but lacks sufficient resources to manage and maintain it. An infrastructure as a service model eliminates the need for an on-premise resource by having the software hosted in a service provider's data center. The court can then access their software by way of the cloud through the internet. Platform as a service builds on the infrastructure as a service model by offering a software platform in addition to computer hardware services. In other words, besides being able to run existing applications on virtualized servers, users can develop new applications for them as well. This ability eliminates a court's need to maintain operating systems, server hardware, and computer capacity. The Google App Engine, which allows users to create their own applications, is a good example of platform as a service. Software as a service provides the most services of the cloud service models. Unlike a traditional software package, where you buy the software and install it on your own computers and servers. The software as a service provider owns the software and hosts it on servers in its data center. Users then access the software over the internet, usually for a monthly fee. Thus, users do not own, but effectively rent the software. In a cloud computing environment, your court shares computing resources with others. Who you share those resources with depends on the cloud deployment model you choose. Cloud deployment models include public, private, and hybrid clouds. The right deployment model for your court is the one that meets your unique security, privacy, and legislative requirements. A public cloud is one where your court shares the cloud service with other agencies or the general public. This cloud type is owned by a cloud service provider and resides externally from your court. Your users would be able to access the infrastructure and other computing resources over the internet. Because of this cloud's public nature, it is a great solution for self-service options like email, but not generally recommended for courts with sensitive computing resources and data. On a private cloud, your court would have physical or virtual servers dedicated to its computer resources and data. This means that your sensitive data would not be located on a shared server. A private cloud may be managed by either your organization or a service provider, and may be hosted on servers located inside or outside of your organization. Either way, your court would have greater ability to manage the infrastructure and resources than you would on a public cloud. A hybrid cloud is comprised of at least one public and one private cloud. This option tends to be a good one for organizations with a combination of both highly sensitive and less sensitive data. For example, you might use a private cloud for sensitive case data, but a public cloud for website services. Now that you have a general overview of what cloud computing is, let's address another major question. Before your court moves sensitive information, you must establish confidence in the cloud's ability to maintain security and privacy of your data. Not all vendors' cloud-based offerings are created equal. When evaluating a vendor's approach to security, you should address both their security credentials and logistics of storing data. Ask questions about who has access to your data, who owns the data, where is the data physically located, what audits does the vendor go through during the year, and what amount of transparency do they offer customers into those audits. You will want to identify who has access to your data. As discussed earlier, the deployment model will determine who has access. While each deployment model has unique benefits, private clouds best meet the needs for courts with sensitive information. Private clouds give you the dedicated resources required to maintain the integrity and privacy of your data. Moving your applications to the cloud doesn't mean you give up ownership of your data, as long as it is clearly stated in your agreement. When entering an agreement with a vendor, you must clearly state, in writing, that you own the data. Your vendor may own the application, operating system, hardware, and everything else, but you need to own your data. By maintaining ownership of the data, you can move the data from one vendor to another at any time. In order to establish trust in data security, look for a cloud-based offering that meets standards for operational compliance and certification in 3 areas, including healthcare, finance, and audit. First, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, or HIPAA, establishes national standards for the security of personal health information and transactions. In order for a vendor to become HIPAA compliant, they must fulfill certain requirements for data backup, storage, and recovery. Second, the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard is a worldwide information security standard. This standard helps to prevent credit card fraud through increased controls of data in order to reduce the likelihood of compromise. It includes 12 requirements for any service provider that stores, processes, or transmits payment data. These 12 requirements provide a framework for compliant service providers to maintain a data security focused on prevention, detection, and appropriate action to security breaches. Third, look for a vendor whose cloud-based offering has a statement on auditing standards number 70. The American Institute of Certified Public Accountants developed this standard to allow auditors to review the controls established by a service organization. In other words, if a cloud service provider has a stated policy that they maintain daily backups of all data, this audit would verify this to be true. When identifying the best cloud-based offering, look for the one that uses data encryption, firewalls, and daily backups to ensure the security of your hosted data. In addition, you'll also want a cloud offering that includes a data center that operates in a highly secure facility with 24/7 armed guards, biometric screening, limited building access, and thorough employee background checks. You can never be too careful with your data. Should we check back with Phil and see how he's doing? Phil has been busy. He's been working hard to determine the best cloud-based case management solution for his court. Not only has Phil received several online demonstrations from vendors, he has been talking to them about their various cloud-based offerings. He has determined that not all cloud-based offerings are the same. In fact, they seem to be quite different. Phil is full of new knowledge about his options to move his project forward. Let's look at what the best cloud-based offering includes. Phil has selected a software as a service model to host a new case management software. The court will not own the software, but rather pay a subscription fee to use the software. Phil needed to ensure the security and privacy of his data. To do so, he has selected the SaaS model to be deployed in a private cloud. The private cloud will give the court dedicated servers for its software and data. Installation of the software will not require any involvement from the court. Phil doesn't have to worry about putting any more stress on his busy IT staff. The software is installed on servers in a highly secure data center by the vendor. A vendor project team is assigned to Phil in order to learn about the processes and unique needs of the court. The project team will then work with Phil to configure the software to meet those processes and needs. Phil will receive administrator training and maintain control over security permissions, code tables, statutes, and other configurable items within the software. Even more, the court will receive all software upgrades and patches at the time that they become available. The court will now stay up to date on the latest in case management technology, rather than stuck on the same version for years. Phil's court also receives software support via telephone, email, or live chat. While talking to this vendor, Phil found out about a unique pricing model called transaction-based pricing. Let's take a look at how this pricing model would eliminate his software subscription fee. Even with the cost savings of a cloud-based solution, it can still be difficult to budget for a subscription fee. Transaction-based pricing can further help courts facing tight budgets. Rather than paying a subscription fee, your court is charged a minimal fee for every new case you create. If state or local statutes allow you to add fees to certain case types, you can add a technology fee to those cases. By doing so, you can shift the cost of the new cases from yourself to the individuals who require the case creation, making transaction-based pricing a no-cost model for your court and your law-abiding citizens. This graphic shows an example of a cost of a case management system under a transaction-based pricing model. As you can see, there is no cost for the software, services, data conversion, interface configuration, training, or travel and per diem for your vendor's project team. You can also get 3-year support, version upgrades, and maintenance of your hosted solution, all for $1.25 per case that could essentially be charged to the individuals who you are creating the case for. So how did things end up for Phil? Phil selected to deploy the court's new case management software in a cloud-based environment. Through a transaction-based pricing model, the new technology has not touched the court's budget. The cost per case fee of $1 per case is offset by a technology fee charged for parking violation cases. The court charges a $10 technology fee for each parking violation under its jurisdiction. By doing so, the court can pay for other cases it creates that cannot be charged a technology fee based on local statutes. Phil is the hero of his court. His court is not only working more efficiently with the new software, court staff is happier with their jobs as a result. Whether or not your next technology investment is case management software, you should seriously consider the benefits of a cloud-based solution. The return on your investment in information technology can be great, especially in the face of tight budgets and reduced personnel. By sharing the cost of technology with others in a cloud computing model, your return will come in the way of reduced costs and increased efficiency. A cloud-based solution can break your court through the restricting barriers of expensive upfront investments in hardware and software and limited IT resources, allowing you to obtain the technology your court needs to stay competitive. Government spending cuts are a continual reality that will not go away anytime in the near future. Cloud-based solutions may be the answer to move your technology projects forward. Well, everybody, that's all for me. Thank you for your attention today. For more information about cloud computing, check out our ebook, Looking to the Clouds. Talk to you soon.